Hi, you right? Today we're going to continue in our financial maths series with GST calculations. Now, you may or may not be familiar with what GST is. GST stands for the Goods and Services Tax. It's like extra value that is put on any kind of thing that is sold or any service that is given, in which the government takes a small cut, which obviously they use to provide services and infrastructure and things like that for their citizens. It's also sometimes called VAT, which is the value added tax. So when you have multiple steps in what's called a supply chain between businesses, each time there is a value added tax sort of given, and so that is also sometimes what is called VAT. In Australia, the GST is 10%, and it's 10% of the pre-GST price. So today we're going to be looking at a few calculations, and we need to be careful that we're reading the question and we're making sure we don't get confused between the pre-GST price or the price excluding GST. And we don't get that confused with the post-GST price or the price including GST, because when we do our calculations, it's very important that we know what stage we're talking about so that we can do those calculations correctly. All right, I'll show you some examples so you can understand what I'm talking about. So for this part A, in this first question, we need to calculate the GST and the price including GST of a camera with a listed price excluding GST of 710%. So I think the clearest way to go about this is we can say 100% is going to equal this price excluding GST, or the pre-GST price. So 100% equals 710. And if we're trying to find the GST, we want to find what 10% is. So if 100% is 710, then 10% is going to be that divided by 10. Now we can put this in a calculator or we can do it in our head, but 710 divided by 10 is just 71, or you can think of it as just removing that zero there when you divide by 10. So that's what the GST equals. So therefore, the price including GST is going to be 110%, which is just going to be these two added together. So 710 plus 71 equals 781. And that's the same as our price including GST. Okay, so 100% is the pre-GST price, 10% is the GST, and then 110% is the price including GST. Let's look at part B. Calculate the price including GST of a mobile phone with a listed price excluding GST of $299. So 100% equals 299. Now we can, in one step, find out what 110% is by multiplying this number by 11 over 10. So you can see that to get to from 100 to 110, you're multiplying by 11 and then dividing by 10. So in the same way, we can then multiply our number by 11 and then divide by 10, and we will get what 110% is. So if I go 299 times 11 over 10, I get my new value here of the price including GST, which is going to be $328.90. So this is the price including GST here. Okay. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky and we need to be really careful. We're going to look at the including GST price, and then from that calculate the price before GST, or the price excluding GST, or the pre-GST price. Okay, we just need to be across that language there. So just think, has the GST already been applied or not? That's what we need to think about. Okay, a TV is advertised with a listed price of $899, price including GST. So this is different, where before we were given the price excluding, now we're given the price including GST already, and we want to find what the GST is and then calculate what the pre-GST price is. So if $899 already has the GST applied to it, then that is going to be 110% already. We've already added that 10% on. So I'm going to write it 110% equals our price. You can see this is different to our first example where we said 100% equals the price. This time, because the GST is already added, we're saying 110% equals $899. Now, if we want to find the GST, then we just want to know what 10% equals. Now, to get from 110% to 10%, we need to divide by 11. Okay, now this is the tricky thing. Okay, people get confused because they think GST is 10%. I just need to divide by 10. However, if we're going from the price including GST to the GST, we're going from 110% to 10%. So we need to divide by 11, not 10. So let's see, that's going to be 899 divided by 11. Put that in our calculator. And we get our value here. We round to the nearest cent, equals $81.73. Okay, we needed to divide by 11, not 10, because we're going from 110% to 10%. Okay, then to get to, that's part A. To get to part B, we need to find what 100% is. So it's just going to equal 81.73 times 10. And that will get us to our price, or the pre-GST price. So all we need to do is going to be 817.30, and that will be our our pre-GST price. Okay, so if we add this number here, then we should get back to this number here. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Just remember to consider whether or not it is the post-GST price we're looking at or the pre-GST price. Good luck with the practice questions, and I will see you in the next video.